It starts with, that little nudge of knowing that you are here for more, or you're here for something different than what you're currently doing right now. And even though you don't know what that is, it's just holding on to that little feeling, that little nudge, that little light, I call it, the little flame, the little spark, the little seed that has been planted. And maybe we've got the seed and we don't know what the seed is. And we don't know what the plant is. Is it an apple tree, or is it a tomato bush? Like what is, but if you think about it, right, when we have these seeds for business, it's a business, right? That contributes to consciousness. And we plant that seed. Are we growing that apple tree to have the apples for ourselves? Or are we growing that apple tree, or that farm of apple trees? I'm not sure the correct terminology for it. If you've got an apple tree farm, feel free to reach out and let me know. But are we growing that farm of apple trees for who? Who pulls the apples from the tree and eats them? Sure, we will take apples for ourselves and for our family and provide for our family first and foremost. But when we have the overflow, we naturally want to give, that's for the community, right? So you might not know what that seed is right now, but you might have one. Might have a seed and you might feel it in your heart space or in your solar plexus, or deep in your womb. It's just a knowing. And that's where it starts. It starts with the knowing. So there's a difference between an idea and a knowing. And I feel like there's a lot of people getting a lot of seeds and they're putting them in their pockets and they're never planting them. Or there's a lot of people who are getting a lot of seeds and they're trying to plant all of them at once. That can be really tiring. Let's just pick one seed, and focus on that seed and plant it. Because when we plant that seed, ooh, and we nurture it and we look after it, like you might be amazed by the results. If I look back at my legacy and when the seed was planted for myself, like I had no idea where I was going to end up. I just knew that what I was doing was not working, and I was unhappy and I was burnt out and I was financially broken. I had nothing. I had nothing. I started from below zero, bankruptcy. When I was in that space of, I had no idea what was coming. I was bankrupt. I had very minimal money coming. I went from making really good money to nothing, nothing. Everything fell away. It was like I went through this spiritual catalyst that, and it just took absolutely everything away from me. And I think it was also because I was going through so much emotional turmoil. I didn't even have the capacity to start creating or start the next thing or move into a new thing. And I just went into like healing mode. Right? I just went into my spiritual healing, my emotional healing. I just focused on raising my two beautiful children, and I was in survival, right? Making just enough money to survive. That's it. Nothing more, no extra. Like I was bare minimum, single mom, two babies, focusing on my healing and surviving. And I think the biggest thing was I had to fully surrender to that. After a whole life of always doing, always achieving, always accomplishing, I was always studying, building business, and just, I'm a bit ambitious. It's hard to get me to sit still for very long. ADHD brain. But I think the biggest part of this is the recognition of, okay, well, what's not working is not working. And the only way to step into something else or something different or something new, because I know it's new and I know it's different, is I'm gonna have to fully let go. And I guess as long as my immediate financial security needs were met, like what I needed to survive was met, I had to create space for myself. So I obviously had time with my children and family and being a single mum. And then I had time where I was working. I was working in a spiritual center in Surface Paradise, doing aura readings and a bit of admin and marketing and helping their business. And I was just floating. But I was also healing massively. So I had to just surrender. And as long as my needs were met, surrendered to the process and committed to myself, like committed to the future. Because I remember, in the early stages of the separation with my ex, I was very distraught on the kitchen floor. And I was like, I didn't know how I was going to survive, how I was going to raise the kids on my own. I knew I could, but I was going through a bit of an emotional time and I didn't want it to negatively impact them in any way. So I guess it was that little glimmer of hope that said to me, Abby, you'll never be here again. Like, just trust the process. Just trust. Trust is the biggest asset that we can ever have.